Benvenuti a tutti. Welcome everybody to Epic Genealogy. I'm Mark. Glad to be with you here. Going to talk today about why I believe Al Pacino, a nato, he was born to play Michael Corleone in The Godfather. Nel suo sangue, eh? It was in his blood to play Michael Corleone.
I like you.
You were loyal to my father for
And you can
years.
see in the movie why it was so important to Francis Ford Coppola that Michael be played only by Al Pacino. It was in his blood. But before I get into that, make sure to subscribe to Epic Genealogy. I really appreciate all the recent subs. Also, make sure to please take a moment to like and comment on the video and leave in the comments if there are other video topics you would like me to discuss. And also, I have a link in the description if you'd like to help support the channel so that I can do more frequent videos. I set up a Patreon, so if you'd like to just donate $1 or so a month, that would be great and would really help to be able to grow the channel and do more videos. Well, let's get right into it. Why do I believe that Al Pacino was born to play Michael Corleone? First, we know from the movie, The Godfather 2, we know that Don Vito Corleone was actually Vito Andolini, and that his familia was from Corleone, Sicilia. And that is about 40 some odd miles south of Gardini, Sicilia, which is where my family is from, and this is in the metropolitan area of Palermo. And we know in the movie there are so many great scenes. It's hard to pick a favorite, but I've narrowed it down to two that I want to have in the video. Why Al Pacino is one of my all-time favorite actors. And the first scene is here. You can see is the planning of the Sollozzo hit. Sollozzo, of course, had ordered the hit on his father, Don Vito, because he turned down his offer to sell drugs.
You're going to search me when I first meet
And the scene is perfect the way it's framed. It's pivotal to the movie. It has, the arc of the character of Michael Corleone going from someone who wanted to be straight and not be involved in the family business to actually becoming just like his father. Actually, it becomes worse. But you watch this and it's like a perfect scene. Like, how could they get any better scene than this? And then there you go. We've got the scene with the actual hit with Sollozzo. I don't think I'm giving any kind of spoilers here because the movie did come out in 1972. But this is perfect. I mean, the way it looks. I mean, you really think that this is a restaurant, an Italian restaurant in the 40s. The way it looks, the sound, and how the Sollozzo was speaking Italian to Mike. It's just a great scene. There's I don't know. I mean, it's just a great scene. How do you improve on that? I don't think you can. And Al Pacino, of course, is one of my favorite actors, just period. Not just The Godfather, but also Injustice for All. But that's for another video. So I did a little bit of research on Al Pacino's family. These are publicly available photos, so I don't think that any kind of privacy is being breached. A lot of the pictures are on findagrave.com. This is a picture of Al Pacino with his father. It's pretty clear to see who he looks like. He looks just like his father. So these are actually Al Pacino's grandparents. They are Salvador Pacino's mother and father, and you can see here Alfio Pacino. So being that he is Al Pacino's paternal grandfather, he is, of course, why Al Pacino is named Alfred Pacino. Being that he's the firstborn of Salvador and Rosa Girardi. So I got a little bit of information about Alfio. My gosh, she looks really, really young. I think I actually have an idea how old Giuseppina Lettieri is. So let's take a look, see some of the information I have. Well, she was born in 1902. She was born in San Fratello in 1902, and she was married in 1916. So she was 14 years old. So that kind of explains why she looks so young, because she was just a child. But I got more information for Alfio. So he was born 17 March 1892 in San Fratello. That is, of course, in Messina, like I mentioned. And this is his birth record. It's so cool to see Al Pacino on a birth record in Sicilia. And, of course, his father's name is Benedetto. And, of course, the naming pattern, Alfio Pacino, is named for his paternal grandfather, Alfio Pacino. I was also able to find his parents' wedding record. So they were married on 23 April 1883 in San Fratello. This is the actual record from San Fratello. Again, really cool to see the Pacino name in the records. And the great-grandmother is Maria Teresa Drago. But none of this explains why I believe Al Pacino was born to play Michael Corleone. And that brings me to his mother, Rosa Girardi. This is a picture of them because Al was just a little baby. I think this little guy over here was going to play Michael Corleone. Eh? How cool is that? So I looked into her family, and this is where we get... So I looked into Rosa Girardi's family, and this is where the connection is. We look at his maternal grandfather is Vincenzo or James Girardi, and he was born in 1891 in Corleone, Palermo, Sicilia. Huh? I just said real quick, Vincenzo James. James is always, for Sicilians anyway, that I know of. You always see the nickname James in the United States because it's a shortened version of Vincenzo. So a C in Sicily is pronounced generally as a G. So the name would be, they would say to Vincenzo is a Genzo, right? Genzo became James. My grandfather's brother is also a Vincenzo and went by James in the United States. So here we've got the connection. Corleone, he was actually born in Corleone. So let's take a look at some of the information here. And I was able to find his 1891 Corleone baptism record. So right there, we have, it's in Latin. It's the Vincenzo Gilardi. So they actually changed the name when they did immigrate to the United States. It's Gilardi. I have Gilardi in mia familia from Garini. And I'm not saying there's a connection. I haven't done the research yet. But hey, Gilardi is not a common name at all in Corleone. It's a lot more common in Garini and surrounding areas there in Palermo, but not in Corleone. And so Francesco Paolo is his father, Francesco Paolo. So his name is actually Francesco Paolo. Now, while Gilardi is not common at all in Corleone, Francesco Paolo is a really common first and middle name. So that was very common. But it made it easier to find the documents because Gilardi is one of the least common names in Corleone, Palermo. So I was able to get as far back as this with the limited time I had to make the video. Francesco's parents are Vincenzo Gilardi and Giuseppa Mangiomelli. So I don't know, maybe if Al Pacino and the rest of the family have an affinity for apples, but and if they do, maybe it comes from Giuseppa. So that's why I believe, because Al Pacino's maternal line is actually from Corleone, Sicilia. Now, that probably wasn't the reason why, of course, Francis Ford Coppola wanted Al Pacino to play Michael Corleone. Obviously, the guy is a world-class actor, one of the best, ever. But it was that authenticity, I think, here. His family actually immigrated from Corleone, Sicilia. But Michael Corleone had to be played by Al Pacino because, like I said, nel suo sangue, it was in his blood, and nato. He was born to play this part.
I just completed my opening statement.
So that's why I believe that Al Pacino was born to play Michael Corleone in The Godfather. So please take a moment to subscribe to Epic Genealogy if you're not already. Also like and comment and let me know what other type of videos and what other topics you would like me to cover. And if you would like to help support the channel so I can get more videos out like this one, you can just look in the description and you can hit my Patreon link. So till next time, salud.